A lot of people struggled with this yesterday. We got to be good at this. N plus 4 times n plus 5. Would you please just multiply that out right now? I don't mind even, as long as you keep on doing problems with it. This isn't simplified all the way, so you have to factor this 2 back out and cancel it. So, yeah, it's not simplified. One of the things in math is you always have to simplify your answers. Question. Somebody had a hand.
Yeah, I'm confused on the last one.
Yep. So here it was, and you thought, what's wrong with this, right? Is that what you're kind of saying?
Wait, yeah, but then I ended up with -2 over 2a.
Okay, nope, that doesn't work. So I can look at yours, but let's look at it later. Yeah. For right now, I want to get this one done with. N times the n squared. The outside ones, that's these two, 5n. The inside ones, 4n. And then the last ones, the only ones that haven't been multiplied are the 5 and the 4. So, n squared plus 9n plus 20. How many of you had that one right? N squared plus 9n plus 20. Be honest here, high hands if you got it right. Okay, so we are at about 2/3 of the kids got that one right. Okay, let's do one more like that. Now you've seen it, maybe this will go a little better. N plus 4, n minus 1. First, outside, inside, last, multiply it all out. Okay, let's see if you've got this down yet. First, n times n squared. Outside, -1n. If you just forgot the negative, I understand. It happens. I make little mistakes all the time. The inside ones is plus 4n. And then the last ones are 4 times -1 is -4. Final answer, n squared. These two combine and make 3n. And then minus 4. How many of you had that one right? Are we getting up to almost everybody? Almost everybody. Okay, good. So, the stuff I just taught you yesterday was like this. I have 500 bucks. Don't write this, just listen. I have 500 bucks and I'm slowly spending 30 bucks a month for, let's say I want to watch Game of Thrones and it's on HBO, and so I'm paying 30 bucks a month for HBO Max. And now I want to keep doing that as long as my money stays greater or equal to $100. Why would that matter? Why do I have to keep my 500 from going below 100? Well, there's minimum bank account balances. Like if you let your money drain out of your bank account too much, then they start charging you like, oh, your bank account is too small, we're charging you 10 bucks a month fee. All right, so could you write an equation like this? You start with some money. You either spend, which I'm spending it on HBO Max, or I could have been earning money every month until, and then this is the hardest part, trying to figure out which sign you use. Until my money stays As long as it stays bigger than $100, I'm good. All right, would you please write this one? I'll tell you the story, you tell me the equation. Kid's got $1,000. They hear that Bitcoin is a good investment, and they decide to invest a little bit of their money in Bitcoin every month. They put $50 every month into buying a little tiny bit of Bitcoin. So he had 1,000, putting $50 a month into Bitcoin. And he wants to do that until he has all of his $1,000 is gone. He wants to spend it all on Bitcoin. So at the end, he'll have nothing. So, story started with 1,000. That's pretty easy, right? And then he's spending $50 a month, minus 50 per month. And that could be an X or an M or an N, it doesn't matter. And then remember the part at the end? Like last time we wanted to keep a minimum balance of $100. This time I said I want to spend it all. That means we'll have 0 at the end. Does that make sense to you? We'll have 0 at the end. We're okay with that. All right, what if the bank says, no. You can't have 0 in your account or we're going to close it. You have to at least keep $1 in there, at least something. Then do you get I could change this equals to a what? Just change this sign right here. What if you have to keep something in there?
Greater than?
Greater than. Greater than 0. That's actually true. When you hit $0 in an account, they might leave it that way for like maybe a month, but then they're going to be like, that account is closed. There's nothing in it, so you just wipe it out. So if you keep it greater than 0, you'll have something in that account. Now, remember, I knew this was going to be kind of one of the harder things for you guys, so I reminded you, there'll be 5 hard problems on your test. This will be one of them. And if you can't handle this one, you just won't get the 5% for this one. But there'll be other ones that you could get points for. All right, but let's see if you can solve it. Remember, solving is always about getting this variable alone. So, what do I start by doing? Hint, you want to get rid of the 1,000. Because then the 50 will be the only thing left. And then you can get rid of that, and then the M will be alone. So, it's so hard for kids to see that 1,000 and go, isn't that a negative 1,000? No, the negative isn't on the 1,000. The negative is on the 50. So you should have subtracted 1,000. How many of you started that way already without me? Good, that's a good sign. And now I have negative 50m is greater than negative 1,000. Remember the goal? Get the m alone. What do you do to both sides? By? You got it. Divide by negative 50. Now, I'm on purpose going to make a mistake here. I did something wrong. Yes. Supposed to flip the sign. Because we divided by a negative, that was supposed to be this way. That's saying your months you can do that for is less than 20. Do you get if you can't do it for 20 months? I mean, wait a minute, I thought we could do it for 20 months. Then we'd be spending exactly 1,000. But the problem is the bank said we had to leave some money in the bank. So we can't do it for 20 months. It has to be less than 20 months. So then it's 19 months you can do that for. Does that make sense to you? All right, so that's one of the hard problems. Now I get to teach you another one of the hard problems, and then different kind. And then we'll see if maybe you got this kind already. Maybe you're going to be good on that one. Here's another one of the 5 hard problems. Absolute value of x minus 3 equals 8. You learned this in Algebra 1. Maybe. I honestly don't know. It might be one of these deals where if you were at East when you, like MME when you learned this, maybe you learned it and maybe they didn't teach it at MMW or vice versa. Or maybe maybe nobody's ever learned this before. I don't know. But I'm gonna show you this one and then you tell me if you feel like you've seen it before or if this is brand new, okay? You split this into two equations. You say x minus 3 is equal to 8. And then you say x minus 3 is equal to negative 8. Do you feel like you've ever seen that? I honestly don't know. Do you think you've seen that? Some kids are nodding like they've seen that before. Awesome. Okay. Because if it's a review, it'll be easier to learn now. Now notice, this one here, it's exactly the same as the original one. Nothing is even different. It's just exactly the same. It just doesn't have the absolute value thingies. This one over here, the only difference is that it's negative at the end. That's it. Do you get that? Otherwise, these two are exactly the same as each other. The two with the blue circles, they're the same except for one negative. That's it. Now, let me make sure you understand why that's the case. I'm going to scribble this out for just a second. Do you see I just scribbled out the x minus 3? Do you agree that what's in there could either be 8? Like if I get an 8 in there, it would be true, right? Absolute value of 8 is 8. Or it also could be negative 8. What's in there could be 8. Or it's in there could be negative 8. Because when you put the bars around it, it ends up being 8. That's why you make two equations. Because what's in there could either be 8. Or what's in there could be negative 8. So we make an equation for both. It's very common to think that the answers will be just like 5 and negative 5 for your answers then. No, your answers will be different numbers. So to finish this off, I have to actually add 3 to both sides, and then I get x equals 11. And now over here, I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and it won't be negative 11. Negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. Quite different. 11 and negative 5 are the two answers. Now let's actually go back and look at the original problem. I'm going to rewrite. It said x minus 3 in here, right? Oh, cool. I can just erase it. And I said the answers were 11. Well, just think about it. If I put an 11 here, 11 minus 3 is 8, and it works, right? And then negative 5 is the other answer I said works. So if I put a negative 5 right here, negative 5 minus 3 would give you negative 8, and the absolute value of that is 8.
Wow.
Makes sense, right? Okay.
On like the test, we have to have false answers.
Yes, absolutely. The answer to this is two things. And it is like just like that. 11 and negative 5. That's exactly how you show it. All right, now I showed you that one. Now let's see if you can do one. And bad news, they'll be a little bit harder than what this is. So if you felt like that was really easy, well, there's one more step. But for right now, just try this. X minus 11 equals 10. There's two answers. Okay, yesterday was Wednesday, September 11, and you were asking about the worksheet. The worksheet's there, the key is there, and the Dropbox is there. It's for sure there. The only thing that I think was like messing you up is I hadn't put a due date on it. And so I think it wasn't showing up in your like upcoming. Maybe that's what was messing with you. So some people were like, it's there, and other people were like, it's definitely not there. I figured it out. I hadn't put the due date on it. So I actually moved the due date, because it wouldn't really be fair to say all of a sudden, now it's due 10 minutes ago. That's not fair. So I'm gonna put it on there as due like a couple days from now.
Is no quiz?
Is no quiz. What?
Wait, is there a quiz for the worksheet?
Is there a quiz? Oh, there. Oh no, it's just a worksheet, and you just Dropbox it. Just Dropbox the worksheet. That's all you got to do. And the Dropbox wasn't probably visible in your upcoming. Okay, did you know to split this into two equations, x minus 11, and some people think, here's a really common wrong answer. Let me just show you. X minus 11 is 10, and x plus 11 is 10. Nope, changed the wrong thing. You're supposed to change these to 10 and negative 10, okay? If you wrote what I just did, nope, you missed the point. You put on a negative, but you put it in the wrong spot. It's that this part here, x minus 11, can be 10, or it can be negative 10. So that's where the negative goes, right there. Otherwise, they're identical equations. And then you'd add 11 here, and you got x is 21. You'd add 11 here, and remember, it's really common mistake is to think it's just negative 21. It is not. Negative 10 plus 11 is 1. There's my two answers, 21 and 1. And remember me saying that if your life depended on it, or on the case of the test, your grade depends on it, you'd be really smart to just put the 21 in and see if it works. Is 21 minus 11 going to get you what you want? I want it to equal 10, and it does equal 10. Cool. And then the other answer I could check would be 1. If I put a 1 right here, 1 minus 11 is negative 10. Absolute value it, and you get 10. Cool. I've double-checked them. Those are the two right answers. Yay. Any questions about that? Okay. Now let me just show you. Act like it's a whole new problem. If I put a 2 right here, it's really common for kids to think you distribute. You do not. You can't jump over the absolute value bars. That is impossible. You cannot do that. So then what the heck do you do with the 2? If you can't distribute it in, what do you do with it? Somebody smart's going to figure this out. What could you do with the 2 to get rid of it? Nope, not when multiplied by 2. Divide what? Divide both sides by 2, and it will cancel it. You can't just divide one thing by 2. You got to divide both sides by 2, and then all of a sudden, this will be a 5, and then you can do the problem just like before. Okay, so sometimes there's just one extra step. So here's one like that. 4, absolute value, x minus 3, absolute value equals 12. Layla, can you tell me what to do first? That's okay. That's all right. Who knows what to do first? Yes. In the back.
Divide by 4.
Divide by 4. And this cancels this. And what is 12 divided by 4? 3. So now I got x minus 3 equals, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. It was just one extra step, and now we can do what I call do the splits. X minus 3 is 3. X minus 3 is negative 3.